Just keep recording all of this, yes. Sunday. Sunday. Sunday is stuff that we did on Sunday. It's a convention time again. Final day of the convention, and bones. I am not ready, but I am ready. So let's do this. Alright. Okay, let's see. Who did I see first? Yes, Denise. I saw Denise first. Alright. The first person that I saw on Sunday morning was Denise Crosby, Tasha Yar. Who they did a sketch thing with that one. One of the con people doing the Trexperts thing had ordered her a pizza, kind of like in some of the other ones. Yeah, they ordered her a pizza. It's called a margarita pizza. I don't think it has margarita in it, but it's a margarita pizza. And she talked about how New York pizza was different. California pizza is her favorite, like New York pizza. Oh, it's funny. So, California pizza. And Denise brother. And, yeah, so... yeah, so there was this pizza sketch. She's like eating pizza and stuff on stage. That was pretty funny. Yeah, and talked about the acting biz and stuff like that. The character she played. How they, with Tasha Yar, one of the people asked, well, why didn't they do that backstory and everything? And they were all like, well, she'd asked the producers that. Why didn't they do the backstory? It's part of the reason she left in the first season of TNG's. They weren't exploring the backstory of how she was like from this failed colony and all that. They never went there, really. Later on, they have her sister show up, and she was kind of perplexed. She kind of didn't know that there was a Nashara Yar later. Somebody mentioned that. And she's all, oh, well, if I have a sister, then she would show up with me, and we'd go fight bad guys or something. That would have been kind of cool. But there were other episodes where she played Sela, the Romulan, so she came back in the other alternate timeline kind of deal. So sure, yeah, Tasha Yar. And yeah, there were other questions and things, and nothing too weird. Of course, there was at least one or two people that were a little special that asked kind of nervous, lame questions, but she was polite to them. So, and they weren't very interesting questions. So, oh, that's very interesting. Yes, when they say that's very interesting, they don't mean it actually was. Yeah. They asked about Trekkies 3. She helped produce Trekkies 1 and 2. And Gabe Creoner, who's now in the business, the art guy, who was referenced in an early, some of the early Chimera stuff in the 2000s, the role-playing game. He was referenced in that way back in the day. That's almost 20 years ago. That's kind of awesome. Like before the yeah, he's now in the biz. I don't know him at all, but there was a connection back then, Trek Web and all that stuff. Kind of fun. Gabe Creoner. I didn't bring the schedule with me. I got it on the phone, but they waited a while to update the schedule on the box in the thing. So the next person I saw was Weird Al Yankovic, and that was very funny. He's a very funny guy. Of course, one of the fans in the audience kind of did the question he probably always gets asked: what about the raunchy, dirty parodies of your songs? He's all like, actually, my songs aren't raunchy and dirty. See, you guys like change the lyrics and make them sound raunchy and dirty, but no, I didn't do that. They're suggestive, like some of them, but nothing really raunchy. No, I don't do that. As a studio, I would get in trouble if they did that. Yeah, so he didn't do that back in the day. Now they talked about UHF and characters on UHF and his BoJack Horseman character that he played, and a number of other things that he was doing. Yeah, Denise Crosby talked about other stuff as well. I mean, acting business. Oh, there was a story about it. And back to Denise Crosby, there was a story about a house during the Trekkies show where there was this obsessed data. A lady was obsessed with Brent Spiner. After the Trekkies, I think the first one aired, Brent Spiner moved. He said he moved. He's not there anymore. Just in case this lady is still in the audience today, like 20 years later now. She's not. But Yeah, she moved. He moved like right afterward. Like, oh my God, this lady's a stalker. Get out of their house somewhere else. Oh, let's see, who else? Just to run down, just to make things run down. All right, William Shatner. Bill Shatner, Captain James D. Kirk, Captain of the Starship Enterprise. He actually does talk in a clipped manner. Even more so now that he's 94 years old. He's like, Kind of didn't quite remember when he was on Star Trek, but that's okay. He was very political, mentioned politics and things like that. Mentioned the Israel-Hamas war, went on about how that was a bad thing, but it's a mess because of that nature, because all these other groups around them want to get rid of them, and they're still after them, and these other like in the big wars, World War I and World War II, where about countries that are now our allies, like Germany and Japan now are allies. So it was a little mixed up, but yeah, his they're just friends or whatever. His Star Trek kind of response to the question about the Israel-Hamas war, because Shatner and Nimoy are Jewish. Well, yes. Nimoy passed away a while. Somebody asked about Nimoy and Leonard Nimoy and their friendship, and they were like brothers, and they had similar upbringing and similar things happened to them. A similar divorce at the same time from their first wives. Stuff like that. And he didn't talk about the wake he didn't get to go to. He left that out. But yes, he cares very much for the late Leonard Nimoy. Yes. I found that his performance was not quite as fiery as in 2017 when I saw him. But then again, that was 2017. And now it's 7 years later, believe it or not. It's hard to believe that it's 7 years since that infamous San Jose Comic-Con where he was literally like cracking jokes about everything, including the hot dog carts outside that were giving him bowel trouble and stuff. It was hilarious. But yeah, like I knew better. Don't the hot dog carts. Stay away from that. Actually, stay away from the hot dogs in the con as well. Yeah, don't eat those. But yes, yeah, Shatner, Bill Shatner. There've been a lot of comedians. Shatner was very funny, answering questions and stuff, even though there were some special people there too. But he wasn't as gracious to them. He's like, there was this one guy that kept hemming and hawing, and he kept, get rid of the even though he does that. Get rid of the the And that's because he's a Toastmaster. He knows about, get everything right. Hem and haw. I hem and haw all the time on my blogs. Yeah. So we have, yeah, so I wasn't the one that he was on about hemming and hawing. It was somebody else. Let's see. The next one was, I believe Terry Farrell was next. Yes, Terry Farrell. Let's see, where is she? Where is she? Oh, there she is. She's the stage. Terry Farrell. Well, that one middle part where Shatner was talking about politics and wars and stuff in Israel and all that part was kind of dark. Terry Farrell's pretty much whole thing was kind of dark. Yeah, she was like, she was oddly, strangely enough, very similar to the character from Chimera, the Evelyn Locarno character. More so than Nicole DeBauer was. Nicole DeBauer wasn't really like that. It was Terry Farrell, because the action figure is a Terry Farrell action figure. There isn't a 5-inch Nicole DeBauer. There's another toy line did her. So yeah, Esri Locarno is technically Jadzia. Anyway, she doesn't know about that. But she did talk about like her upbringing in the 60s, 70s, and that roughly tells you how old she is. And then her mother was I guess she was a single parent because the father left, and the mother was like one of those Joan Crawford types. Really, everything perfect. Basically, the kind of mother that lives vicariously through their daughter, and wants them to you can't eat too much or you'll get fat, or you can't do this too much or you'll get that, this or that, and whatever. And apparently there's this haircut in she was in high school. There was a haircut. A mother made her get a perm because she kept eating the points of her hair. See, in the '60s, they had like Gidget haircut and this other haircut, and it's more like a bowl with the little. Not because you know the Bond movies, the Bond girls with the hair going like this. I knew exactly. I don't know the name of it. She mentioned the name, but I know exactly what she was talking about because I seen that hairdo on people from the '60s. I think my mother had that hairdo at one point, where I kind of jinxed them right, little curls up like this, and yeah, you could get it in your mouth and she described that so well. It's like I totally have seen that. I think my mother had some form of that hairdo into the '80s with the bangs and then like yip winks and the that was that hair. I was quite familiar with it. I lost the Star Spangled Banner hat during the Shatner thing. It's gone. I'm always losing something at Animes. Lost that. So if you happen to find it at the convention there, you have a Cal-Cat souvenir from the Cal-Cat show. That the channel mascot hat is now gone. But yeah, so we have Terry Farrell. And eventually she went into modeling because she's very tall as a young teenager. As a later teenager, 16, 17. I don't know why they let her do that. But it was the 60s and 70s, so maybe that wasn't bad. Back then it was like, oh, the modeling agency isn't going to be evil and put you in porn. They didn't do that. but no, she ended up in the New York modeling agency and all that, did that. And she got some very lucky movie parts and stuff. I think there is... Yeah, and the guy, Counterpoint guy from the Trexperts. Shout out to the Trexperts. They're new to us. The Trexperts guys. Yeah, we'll see how much Trexperts they are because there are a couple of us fans out there that are totally geeking out on the Star Trek. We'll see how close they are. Yeah, because as the Trexperts and Larry Nemeczek, of course, they know the people in the business, but us fans. We know all this ridiculous minutia details. Like, it's a good thing I didn't go to the Star Trek V movie showing. They were charging $8 to. I ran out of money. I ran out of money at the convention. Couldn't go anyway. But I did go to the other panel. Went to the diversity panel after that. But But yeah, I would have been. Oh, I overanalyzed Star Trek V to death back in the day. So. It was like, okay, the turbo lift shaft thing, and the other, the gravity boots wouldn't work like that. And, all that stuff that, basically, back when James Johan was alive, said, I don't know why they didn't ask me. But yes, so that was an overview, kind of what the people were at this convention, and today is apparently clearing up a little bit. So we have, third day, not as many people. We have more pictures, and I will do the narrations of the 3 clip shows. I'm not calling them slideshows anymore. I'm going to call them clip shows because they're on the channel. Clip shows. They're not really slideshows because there's like very few pictures. They're clip shows, and they're video because the newer phone has more video. Because battery's still fine. That could have gone on for hours. Awesome. Yeah. but yeah, I wouldn't recommend the iPhone 15 for doing full video productions because you'd have to ADR everything in post. Because the mic's not that great. I would not recommend going to conventions and filming panels with it because it's not going to make sense. It was funny though in the Shatner thing. Yeah, you can't film the panels. Shatner thing, he saw a camera on the stage and it fascinated him. So he ran over to it. It was sticking up and it was like an AI thing. It could sense your movement. So it was like beep, beep, beep. And he stuck his face up to it. He's like, and his face gets all large and he's all, Mr. Shatner. The guy's all, Mr. Shatner. That's just an extra camera for taking the wide shots and all that. You're getting so close to it, it's going to be all distorted and stuff. Oh, it's a camera. He gets up to the camera. Also, he said that he loved James Spader on Boston Legal. William Shatner did. And then going back to William Shatner. But he hasn't seen him in 20 years since the show ended. So, I was like, oh man. So, they loved each other. They were great friends. But he could try to call him, I guess. You know, if you liked him that much, you can call him up. See what's going on. Oh, well, he also talked about horses. He accidentally bid on a horse many years ago. He ended up having to keep it because he raised up his hand during an auction. Bid on a horse. But then he said, okay, I'll keep it. And he started raising horses everywhere. Shatner's going to buy a horse. That was funny. And the pantyhose thing from Generations, which was in the last one. I mentioned that too. Patrick Stewart came out all dapper and why did you put the pantyhose on the outside? They should have put that in the movie. It'd be like these riding hose, like just don't explain it. Just don't. It's just there. It's like that was like the one of the comedy things in the. I think it was the. I think it was that's the Denise Crosby one. I think. Like where the host, the moderator guy was like, "What would be funny is if they had like a in Trekkies 3, if they have like a thing and that something weird happens and with the involving the main character asking about Tutter or something, and just don't explain it, just have them there, and just don't explain it." Or maybe I'm thinking of I'm thinking of the other panel. I'm thinking of the Next Gen one, where the other Next Generation people were, the Spleers were like, what would be really funny is if they have like a random comedy cameo like Weird Al or something, and just don't explain why he's there. He's just there, just like walking around like yes It's like what? But yes so yeah, he'll be so yeah. So that was my recap, sort of day 3. Oh yeah, I'll show off the day 3 and con swag. The con swag. Con swag. It was funny as I went up to look for con swag at 2 different con swag dealers. This young black lady, she said, "How do you know that word? Con swag. You don't look like you know what that word means." It's kind of funny. So of course I know what that word means. Niece's and nephew. They're your age. I reckon I do. Well, at least you didn't say anything about black folk. Oh, no. Yeah. Alright. I did splurge a little bit. This is the actual signature official Bobby Clark Gorn picture. He's fighting the Gorn. And there was another picture of him fighting the Gorn, and then he was hiding this one, and I was all, this one's better, I want this one. And he's all, oh, okay, you want to sign it with your name on it or something? He's really old, he's like Shatner's age. And I'm all, yeah, I'm never going to sell it. Come on, just give my name, put my name on it. Yeah, only somebody else with the name Adams is going to want that. Yeah, that's right. Okay, the Trexperts. Turns out, Inglorious Trexperts. Now, Inglorious Bastards is what they're spoofing here, not realizing that Inglorious Bastards is based on a exploitation movie from the 70s. And Tarantino just loved it, so he renamed his movie the same thing. It's kind of similar, but not really. And Inglorious, which is a kind of a made-up word, means the opposite of glorious. So actually what they're saying is, they're not glorious Trexperts. Yes. Inglorious Trexperts. Alright. And also spurt kind of sounds naughty. And here we have spurt. Yeah. Alright. Yeah. Con swag. Alright. Where's Waldo? Photo ops. Cal Cat is somewhere in this picture. Yes. The other one with Nicole DeBauer, you can't see me. But in this one, you can see me clear as day, right in the back in the Voyager outfit, looking like Tom Paris, with my hat off. And yeah, that's awesome. I was the only one with a Voyager outfit on day 2, Saturday, and that is Robert Picardo, the doctor. Please state the nature of the conventional emergency. He was hilarious. Dude, maybe he was the guy that said, "Don't explain it." It's funnier. Don't explain it. Have it. Bizarre convention 3-day pass that went for a 2-day and ended up with a 3-day because got there on Friday and I was like, I'm not gonna go turn around and go back. How do I just get 3 days? Got all 3, and I wanted an appropriate concert. They didn't have a 2024, but they had, which is weird, but they did have at least the logo from this season. So there we go. They're new, and they're going to replace San Jose Comic-Con from now on. So this is an inaugural event. They're replacing San Jose Comic-Con. So from Florida, and they were actually not that bad. I don't know what all the other ones are saying, like, okay, complaining about the other 2 conventions earlier this year, but actually they didn't do that bad a job. They were all right. They used the anime formula and the Adam Savage formula, and they were all right. Yeah, it's no reason to. The only thing that was kind of screwy was the pricing and stuff like that. You didn't want to buy extra photos, and they ran out of money at the ATMs, and they had about maybe 20,000. They had a lot of people in there toward the middle and toward the end. Saturday and Sunday they had a lot of people, and they started to leave on Sunday because they ran out of money. But yeah, you have a con story. I can go over that in the commentary on the 3 commentary tracks here. And but here, this is just a recap making of thing, and everything is cool. So yeah, back to the voiceover stuff. I'm trying to think of where that line about "don't explain it" is. I'm probably thinking of DiMaggio saying something like that. That sounds like something. Mr. DiMaggio. Here we go. Come on. That must have been it. My shiny metal butt took us. You said something other than butt. Yeah. GalaxyCon. I said Comic-Con. GalaxyCon 2024. That was my sort of recap real quick. And then we'll go to the audio commentary, in which I will probably cough and hack all over it. And probably the one that gave everybody the con cred. No, there were other people with the con cred. It was, yeah, it's, whatever it is, it's all over the country, so it wasn't me. Just as well I did not go and get any other Trek diversion panel thing to talk to the Trek people. I did think hold on a minute. I did think of something funny, and Will Wheaton wasn't there the whole day. Not that I know of. He kept leaving I wanted to go up to Will Wheaton, and I didn't get to. I wanted to go up to Will Wheaton, with my phone out, and I wanted to say like, in my Star Trek outfit, and what I wanted to say to him, and I didn't get the chance to, because I thought of it after the meet and greet, or I would have done it there. And I want to go up to him and say like, Wesley Crusher, I'm another traveler from a slightly altered dimension, and I've come here because Cristobal Rios is somewhere in the convention, and we're supposed to return him to the 24th century. He's not supposed to be here. It's 2024 right now, just like in Star Trek Picard. You grabbed the wrong person. You were supposed to grab Cristobal. You grabbed the girl. Well, put the girl back and grab Cristobal, because it's now 2024. You would have thought that was funny. You'd been all, I like that. Yeah, that's cute. But I didn't get to do that. So, but one thing I will do is those Star Trek guests and Weird Al. After I of course do the I gotta finish movie 3 of Legacy. I think I only did about maybe half of it. Yeah, I did half of movie 3, the finale, and what we thought was the finale. What we thought was the finale, and for those characters, it kind of is. But yeah, so yeah, so in the Chimera movies. So what I want to do is, it's inspired by the convention, and it's 2024 now. Let's figure out what happened with some of that, and they're there. That'd be kind of funny. So I haven't thought of what this is going to be. So think of it. Think of it as, okay, it's not really them. It's just that I'm going to put the characters, the action figures in the story, not them. Obviously, I wouldn't have the actors DiMaggio in there too, and have them be action figures. Going on a similar thing to what I did with Star Trek Legacy when it started, when I had them do Valentine's Day and they're on the Valentine's Day planet. Similar to that, in which maybe the Traveler Wesley brings them there to hang out, where I find Shatner. And because Shatner walked off, in this story, Shatner walks off. The convention inspired me to do like a thing. Also, Terry Farrell mentioned body dimorphism and stuff. Like her mother made her think that she wasn't pretty enough or something, which is messed up, and that's messed up. And she's gorgeous, and hot. What her mother's? I don't know what was wrong with her mother, but damn, she's still like she's in her what? Imagine she's in her late 30s, no 60s, early 60s, early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, smart 60s. And yeah, she's still young. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. One of the fans went up there and he was like all hot and bothered and sweating and stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it's not like the Gates McFadden one where she and Ed Speleers were flirting with each other, which was a little May December weird kind of story. But that was funny. But I also saw Michael Dorn later on at the thing, but he wasn't paying attention. He was on his phone. I waved at Brent Spiner. I saw him at the signings, and Nicole DeBauer and Terry Farrell. I asked Terry Farrell where the ATM machines were. And she said, "Oh, they're around here somewhere." At the signing, I never did get the ATM machine. I did go eventually to one, only to discover I shouldn't spend any more at this convention, and then turned around and came back to the convention and just went to the diversity panel instead. Now, the little diversity panel they had was fine. Nothing wrong with that. Wasn't a Sikh. I guess he was a sort of a Sikh Indian guy. There was a black guy, a Sikh Indian guy, and a sort of a proto-goth lady, gothic African American descent, but not that black lady, kind of like a lighter skinned one, kind of like Charlize Theron is also African American, but she doesn't look black. So yeah, it's like that. Like yeah, she's a goth, and it's explaining all about witchcraft and stuff. Or she said she was doing that. And that was odd, the witchcraft. But the other guys talked about the G.I. Joe and influences of that kind of stuff, and she talked about Barbie and influences of that, and yeah. But what's funny is there was a Korean guy too. There was a Korean guy. I think there was a third one. I think it was the Korean guy. I couldn't tell who was talking because there were a lot of people in front of him. I was way in the back, but one of them said that when he was a kid on the playground with his friends, back in the day, when Wonder Woman, the TV show, came out, so that tells you how old he is. He's got to be a little over 50. So the show was on the air. He's got to be a little over 50. Unless he's watching it in reruns. The kids wouldn't have been watching that in reruns, I don't think. It was on the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. SNL was on. Yeah. And there's a weird parallel to Cal Cat. He was out there with his friends on the playground, and they would pretend they were Wonder Woman, and some of them were boys. They would pretend they were Wonder Woman. Da, 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 da. I used to do that. I used to do He-Man and She-Ra too. The She-Ra picture. Silly Kelly. What would that look like? That'd be funny. No. Yeah, Calicat and drag would be really scary. Yeah, if you want to see that, it's funny. Look up Starcrackers: A Sphere of Influence. See me in drag with a beard, with a veil, like he's some kind of she's a Sikh lady, an Indian lady, but very white. I wasn't trying to be offensive. I wasn't trying to be Sikh even, or Muslim or anything like that. It's just that I had a beard and I was 20 or something, and I figured, okay, I have to cover the beard, so I put a scarf over my face. Shave the beard off. No, it didn't occur to me. But yeah, it looks like I got some whiskers for like 3 days and not shaving. Again, but no, I'm gonna shave them. So yeah, that was weird. He didn't know about the He-Man She-Ra thing. He didn't know. I didn't tell him. But it's kind of funny. It's weird. But yes, yeah, I would never run for politics, but if I did, they would dig that up somehow and pass it all over them. This guy was dressed like a girl in a ridiculous costume. I'd be all, yes, I was. Oh my. Well, the thing is, like, Trek geeks and Trek dorks and stuff, and Trek nerds, we don't care that we did that. Yeah, maybe Terry Farrell is a bit self-conscious because her mother was kind of a jerk, but my parents were not like that. They didn't discourage and they didn't encourage it. They were very conservative. But they didn't discourage it. They didn't say, "Oh, don't be effeminate or bisexual or whatever," because yeah, they could kind of tell. And then there was like the I identify as male, but yeah. But I get it. Why those other ones are some of them identify as trans. That's fine. Do whatever. You know. Do you do your thing? I do my thing. All right. Yeah. So. but yeah. Identify as male. Oh my. Because I am male. But that doesn't mean sometimes I don't see if I see a handsome man. I notice them too. That's perfectly all right as long as nothing happens. I remember one time there was this conservative pseudo debate to the family. The characters were being rather conservative and slightly bigoted a little bit. And I turned to them and said, I'm comfortable with my sexuality. If I want to go acting like I'm bi, well, then I am. Oh my. And I walked out of the room and they were like, oh my. Well, we know he's, bi. But that's cool. So it's just not, it's not interfering with anything. It isn't interfering with anything. Whatever, Not just the autism spectrum, but on the LGBTQ plus spectrum as well. Bi. Oh my. There were a few costumed interesting characters there at the convention. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to go to the commentary because I'll probably say some similar stuff on there. And this is my recap so far. A tape, and yeah, I hope you'd like to recap the convention. And voice is kind of evening out. That's nice. Yeah. This is the undershirt from the cast. I believe this was years ago a Christmas present from Sarah during the Lady Gaga era. For under the costume, but this doesn't sweat as much. I wore it under my Star Trek Lower Decks outfit. I was Captain Cal Cat of the San Jose Lower Decks, and so yeah, I wasn't Boimler. Cal. Somebody actually recognized that was funny. They're like, "Oh, you're not Boimler. You're the other from the yeah." Well, I'm the voiceover guy. I'm not really the voiceover guy, but I said to him, I'm supposed to be Captain Calcat from the Starship San Jose from Lower Decks, and he's like, that's good. I like that. It was another Star Trek guy. His wife and the other was in there. Captain Calcat from the. Wow, that's that from the one episode where the San Jose is here. Yeah. Well, speak. That ship might return in season 5. We'll see. I'm sure it won't be my voice doing it. It'll be whoever's going to do it there. But he's got to come back. And there was also a pseudo version of me, sort of a Silly Kelly type, who is just on the ship, and he's a lieutenant, and he gets phasered in season 4. So gets stunned with a phaser, because I thought that would be funny. As I said that in one of my posts, one of my Carmara posts, and Mike McMahon was watching. He's all, okay, I put that in there. Except the thing that he got a little wrong was that back then, it's supposed to be 30 years in the past, right? 20 years in the past? Yeah, 20 years in the past. I had more hair. But yes, let's do the commentary.